and welcome to a very special interview with a very special person. I mean, I've known her for ages, and I've known her as a philanthropist, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's giving a serious push to Indian sport, but haven't had a chance to really sort of quiz her on her vision. But now, with UTT in its final week and doing extremely well in trying to give Indian table tennis the boost that it needs, perhaps the best occasion to quiz Vita Dani on her vision for the sport and a lot more. I mean, for example, in my case, I love football, so Chennaiyin FC or table tennis or so many more things she wears. And as I said, fantastic work for Indian sport. Firstly, welcome. Thank you very much and many congratulations on what you are doing. Must be very pleased with what you've seen so far with this season of the UTT.
Thank you, Boria, for the kind words. Of course, we are here to promote sport, and I have always believed that, forget me, but for any sports person, the most precious thing is to get an Olympic medal. The most precious thing is to see a Tiranga go up. And I think our journey is to ensure that somewhere we can achieve that as part of the country, because at the end of it, sport has to win. At the end of it, country has to win.
Lovely. And if you actually if I push you on that note, Manika and Satyan, serious chance in Paris. In the World Championship, Sharath and Satyan lost a very close round of 16 game to Pitchford and his partner. So we are seeing serious effort as far as Indian table tennis goes. Maybe that one push. Asian Games, we won 2 medals in 18. Commonwealth Games, we won so many. Your thoughts on how the sport is shaping up and how UTT is helping?
So our attempt is to give the correct platform and exposure to our paddlers, our sports people. And it's important that the 20 days that they spend with some of the best players in the world, some of the best coaches in the world. And it's not only as practice partners, it is also playing with them, playing against them, getting advice from some of the good coaches. Also, our Indian coaches will benefit because they get the same exposure. And if you are following the matches, you will see that there have been many upsets. Harmeet beating some of the top players, or Manav beating, or Sharath beating. And that in itself will give them a new, renewed self-belief and confidence. And I think that is what is important. And same is true with even the girls. So if you look at Sutirtha Mukherjee, if you look at Ahika, if you look at Shrija, Dia, as a matter of fact, all of them, even getting 1 or 2 games out of an opponent, will boost a great amount of energy and self-belief. And all this will help us in reaching the larger goal.
I actually agree, because and Shutirtha and Ahika won that WTT event also. The way I see table tennis evolving in this country, what stands out for me in your case, and I was reading an interview of yours in 2020 where you say that it's not about profit. Clearly, this is not a league where you've come in for money. You have invested serious amounts of money in trying to get the sport off the ground. So tell me a little bit about your larger vision. And here I tie in with the Elms Foundation, physical literacy, something this country is lacking. You are good for sport. So tell me a little bit about your larger vision.
I will again repeat myself in saying this, that the end journey over here is not to make money. The end game is to make sure that the game wins, be it football, be it table tennis, be it physical literacy, be it high performance center, or be it even now para-TT. We want to make sure that the game gets the best out of us all, because we are a very large country. And if we are saying that we have only 2 Olympic gold medals, then I don't think it is justified. Somewhere we need to tweak our model a bit, and I'm sure we will reach that end point. And that is the attempt, to make sure that we give equal and more opportunities and exposure to all our players. And we will get there. It's only a question of time. It's a question of a little more push. And I'm not saying I'm the only one. I'm sure there are lots of people. The government is doing a lot. SAI is doing a lot. And I'm sure together, all of us, along with the federations, along with everybody and other corporates, we will go a long way. Like if you see UTT, we have great support from, like, say, Kotak's, from Radha Kapoor. If you look at uh, Dempos, if you look at Ronnie Screwvala, so many people are coming forward. And I think it's this movement that we need to get at together, what will really define the future of sports in our country.
I love this because all of India has to come together. When I see the Odisha model, when I see your foundation model, I see a lot of hope in Indian sport. You mentioned para TT, stands out for me that now we are striving for equality and sensitivity as well. Can you talk a little bit more about your involvement and how you want to promote para sports?
This was about maybe 6 or 8 months ago that for the first time I met Bhavina Patel. She had come home, and when I heard her story, I was even more humbled. What are the struggles? What are the challenges that they have? And I think they are doing a fantastic job, and I'm not sure if they're getting the recognition that they really truly deserve, as a matter of fact. And that's where I said that if we are doing all this, why not para TT as well? So this year we have supported 2 of their events, and of course we are in touch with Bhavina, and we are trying to see what best we can do and how we can give them also support. And I think this is also in line with the vision of what we are doing. If we are doing table tennis, then I don't think there is any difference between Indian table tennis and para table tennis. I mean, I won't say Indian, I'm sorry, between table tennis and abled and para table tennis. For me, there is no difference between men and women that you would have seen at UTT, and same with the case with para. So we are willing to look at that model.
Fascinating, because it's so telepathic that on my show it was Bhavina Patel today as part of my Paralympic show. I do a weekly show on the Paralympics, and today's athlete was Bhavina Patel. Bhavina and I go back a long way. In fact, the night she won her Tokyo silver, she called me at 6 p.m. and said, we are friends. And she said, sir, because I had congratulated her. She said, you want to give me a gift? I said, yes. And she said, my gift would be if you somehow get me to talk to Sachin Tendulkar. And I'm like, what? She said, yes. And I called Sachin, and I got the 2 of them on a conference call, Tokyo, Bombay, Kolkata. And I still remember. It's been fascinating seeing her journey from where, polio and people saying Tunto, Boj ho, ye ho, and all that, and from where she's come today. So great work on that note, Vita. Now I'm coming to football. I mean, you've seen the SAF win, you've seen the 3 back-to-back wins. Does it now give hope? And Sunil continuously tells me that because of the ISL, again, the exposure to international players, Indian football is on an upswing. Your thoughts?
I would like to make a little correction here, Boria. I don't think you should ask this question, does that give hope? There is always hope. If there is no hope, there is no dream. And I think we have done exceedingly well in football. And I think ISL gets full credit for it. The amount of revenue that has come in, the amount of exposure that has come in the game, and the amount that the Indian footballers are earning, I think it is mind-boggling. And this is what we need to adapt and ensure is also replicated in many other sports, to ensure that more corporates, more revenue, and more exposure comes in. And that is what will really make the huge difference. And as you just mentioned, that when Bhavina told you that she'd like to speak to Sachin, I think my aspiration here would be that someday somebody will call you and say, if you can connect that person to Bhavina Patel. I think that would be the real...
It really happened. I mean, during the Commonwealth Games, Nikul and Bhavina, they were coming out and people were seeking autographs and taking photographs. And I was like, this is the day you want to see, right? 19 medals in Tokyo, 4 in Rio. Gusharan Singh tells me there will be 35 plus in Paris. What fantastic stories. And trust me, this effort that you just said towards para-sport makes me tremendously happy. So great work. Final question. One, unlike a lot of entrepreneurs, in your case, where I see a difference is you are on ground, you are hands-on, you are in the stadium, in the stand, tense, biting your nails, part of it. Tell me that side of you, the fans.
As a person, I I'm the one who likes to dirty my hands. I don't leave things only to my people, and I like to know every bit, be it football, be it table tennis, be it anything in life as a matter. I just like to know and get into every detail. I'm a person of details, and that's why you see me biting nails, because we always play to win, and that's something that I really like. I mean, that's a line that I saw actually on my son's T-shirt one day. And I said, this is what will always stick with me, because everybody wants to play to win. And if you want to play to win, then you got to get into the game and you have to know every detail of it. And this is what I tell everybody, that you ask me any questions. Very often, people from your community come and ask me that, oh, I'll give you some of the questions. And I always say it doesn't matter, because I'm still going to speak my mind. I'm going to still speak what I feel. So I don't have to prep up for anything. And that's what it's all about. You got to know what you are doing. And for that, you don't need any preparation. So I get into the dressing room as far as football is concerned. I sit with people. For table tennis, we sit on ground for physical literacy. So you just know what is happening. And that's what is important. And that's when you can make a difference and you can inspire and aspire people.
Absolutely. And spot on. I mean, a choreographed interview with pepped up questions can never get the best out of any person. I mean, then there is no spontaneity, then there is no depth, come on. Ultimately, sport is real, not real. If an interview is choreographed, it's real, not real. So you've got to make sure that that's the case. Finally, what's the one thing you've told me about an Olympic medal? I'm sure you'll be in Paris. You will be. So what's that one dream that you have as a sports entrepreneur, as someone who's promoting sport, and you've done so much, but what's that one dream that still you want to fulfill as far as Indian sport is concerned?
The other day I was talking to one of the table tennis players, and I asked her, what does she feel about the Indian table tennis? And what does she feel about UTT? So she tells me that, earlier when we used to go and see our draw, we used to say, there's an Indian in the draw, Today when we go and see our draw and we say, oh, there's an Indian in the draw. And if we can achieve this in every single sport, then I think my dream will come true, where people should feel that, oh, there's an Indian in my draw, I better watch out. And as a country, we are capable of doing this. And this is the message we need to send across in the entire world, no matter which sport it is, that they need to watch out for India as an upcoming sporting nation and a nation where there are plenty of medal prospects.
Beautifully said, because clearly we are on our way to becoming a multi-sporting nation, a sensitive sporting nation which strives for equality. On a day that Satwik Chirag wins the Korea Open, when Shubhankar is doing well in golf, when Sheetal Devi creates history in archery. So you clearly know that Indian sport is on an upswing. And you mentioned the table tennis player. Dia, for example, told me that now when I first came to sort of play the game and there was a foreigner and I was like, oh, we lose. But now we have the confidence, thanks to these efforts, that we can take anyone down. Vita Dani, well done. Great work so far, but lots to do. So all the power to you, all the passion to you, and more biting nails, but keep doing great work for Indian sport. From our side, complete support. That's what I can tell you, because you're good for sport. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Boria, and I look forward to your continued support for the Indian sport.
Thanks a lot.